Have you ever had to choose between what's easy and what's right? Have you ever faced a moment where standing for your beliefs could cost you everything? Today, I'm going to tell you the story of a man who refused to bow, refused to hide, and discovered that faith is the only armor you need when facing the impossible. Daniel was different. In a kingdom of corruption, he was honest. In a palace of schemers, he was trustworthy. He was one of just 3 administrators governing the entire Persian Empire under King Darius, and the king loved him. Darius saw a rare integrity in Daniel, a wisdom that couldn't be matched, and he planned to put him in charge of the entire kingdom. But excellence breeds envy, and envy breeds conspiracy. The other officials watched Daniel rise with hatred in their eyes. They wanted his power. They wanted him gone. So they met in secret, whispering in dark corners, plotting his destruction. "We need to find something against Daniel," they hissed. "Some corruption, some mistake." They investigated his finances. Nothing. They examined his work. Flawless. They searched for scandals. There were none. Finally, one of them spoke the terrible truth. "We will never find anything against this man unless it has something to do with the law of his God." They couldn't attack his character, so they decided to attack his faith. They crafted a trap so clever, so perfect, that Daniel would have to choose his God or his life. They went to King Darius with flattery dripping from their tongues. "O king, live forever. We've all agreed that you should issue a decree for the next 30 days. Anyone who prays to any god or man except to you, O king, shall be thrown into the lion's den. Now issue the decree and put it in writing so that it cannot be altered." The king, flattered and unsuspecting, signed it. The trap was set. The law was irreversible. And Daniel, he knew exactly what it meant. When Daniel heard about the decree, he went home. He could have hidden. He could have prayed in secret, behind closed doors, in whispered words. He could have waited just 30 days. Surely God would understand, right? But Daniel didn't hide. He went to his upstairs room, opened his windows toward Jerusalem, got down on his knees, and he prayed. Out loud, where everyone could see, just as he had done 3 times a day, every day for decades. The officials were watching, they were waiting, and they had him. They rushed to the king with malicious joy. "Daniel pays no attention to you or to your decree. He still prays 3 times a day." The king's heart sank. He realized he'd been tricked. He spent the entire day trying to find a loophole, any way to save Daniel. But the law of the Medes and Persians could not be changed. With a broken heart, King Darius gave the order. Guards seized Daniel. They dragged him to the pit, a deep cave where the empire's most fearsome lions were kept, starving, savage, trained to kill. The king looked at Daniel with tears in his eyes and said, "May your God, whom you serve, continually rescue you." They threw Daniel into the darkness. The lions roared. A massive stone was rolled over the entrance and sealed with the king's own ring. Then everyone left, everyone except the lions, and Daniel and God. That night, King Darius couldn't eat, he couldn't sleep. He paced his palace floors, haunted by what he had done. He had just sentenced the most righteous man in his kingdom to death. But what happened in that den? Picture it, Daniel falling into the darkness, his eyes adjusting to see golden eyes gleaming in the shadows, massive shapes moving closer. The hot breath of predators. Any second, he would be torn apart. But then something impossible happened. A divine light filled the cave, and with that light came an angel, a being of pure power, sent by the God who had split seas and brought down walls. And on this night he closed the mouths of lions. The massive beasts stopped mid-stride. Their roars died in their throats. One by one they lay down, becoming as gentle as lambs. And Daniel, he sat among them, feeling the supernatural peace of God's protection. The den that should have been his tomb became his sanctuary. At the first light of dawn, King Darius ran to the den, not walked, ran. He called out in an anguished voice, "Daniel, servant of the living God, Has your God been able to rescue you from the lions?" And from the depths came a voice, calm and clear. "O King, live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me." The king was overjoyed. He ordered Daniel lifted from the den. When they brought him up, not a single scratch was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. The king then gave another order, "Bring the men who accused Daniel." They brought them, along with their families. And before they even reached the floor of the den, the lions overpowered them and crushed their bones. Then King Darius, a pagan king, wrote a decree to the entire empire. "I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel. For he is the living God. He rescues and he saves. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions." One night in a lion's den changed an entire empire. One man's faithfulness became a testimony that echoed across nations. Here's what makes this story eternally relevant. We all face our own lions. Maybe your lions are the pressure to compromise your values at work. Maybe they're the mockery you face for standing for what's right. Maybe your lion's den is the fear of losing your job, your reputation, or your comfort if you dare to stand up. Daniel had a choice. Compromise for 30 days or face certain death. He chose faith, not because he was reckless, but because he understood something profound. The God who made the lions is more powerful than the lions. The God who created their mouths can close them. Here's the truth. You cannot silence someone whose voice comes from heaven. You cannot stop someone whose strength isn't their own. Daniel walked into that den alone, but he wasn't alone. And the same God who sent an angel to Daniel sends them for you. The same God who shut the lions' mouths speaks peace over your storms. The same God who vindicated Daniel will vindicate you. What are you facing today that feels like a lion's den? What choice are you avoiding because you're afraid of the cost? Daniel's story shouts across the centuries with one message: don't bow. Don't hide, don't compromise, open your windows, get on your knees, pray out loud, let them see your faith. Because when you do, you give God an opportunity to show the world who he is. The lions are real, the danger is real, but so is God, so are his angels, so is his power. And when the stone rolls away and you walk out untouched, the whole world will know your God is real. If this story stirred something in your soul today, share this video with someone who's in their own lion's den right now. Someone who needs to hear that God still closes the mouths of lions. Leave a comment telling me, what's your lion's den? Let's encourage each other and remind each other that we're not alone. And if you want more stories like this that don't just inform you but transform you, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Don't just watch these stories, live them. Because the same God who was with Daniel is with you, right now, in your lion's den. And he's about to show you that your faith wasn't foolish. It was the wisest thing you ever did. Until next time, stand firm, stay faithful, and watch God move. May God bless you.